So today let's talk about something that's a little bit of a throwback to the olden days that some people may not have heard of or even know about, called the house style. So back when I was hardcore into collecting in the 80s and 90s, most comic books had a very similar style. Many people refer to it as being a house style. One of the biggest companies I can remember that became a thing of was Valiant Comics when they first did their first generation, first edition of their comics. And they had a very similar comic style within all their books, meaning they all look the same, which, I don't think was a bad thing. I think it was actually a smart thing, but I digress. So you could pick up their books and you could be drawn into the art style and them, even though it might be different artists, they all kind of drew very similar to keep the same quality level. And I think as of late, which has been driving me crazy, I didn't think I'd be so upset about this, but apparently I am, is the lack of house style in many comic books, especially like Marvel and even DC. I think DC is a little bit better, but definitely Marvel. Marvel's books have the covers. So I think it's like the bait and switch. The covers are okay, but the insides are really horrible. I mean, the quality of the work is just shoddy, not very well done, and it looks kind of very amateurish. And I have to wonder how much less they're paying these people to do these books. But since it says it's Marvel and it's the Avengers, and you get on it, and there you go. I mean, if you're not a big name on a big name book, I mean, you're just somebody filling in. And let's be honest, a lot of people's art style doesn't improve. It seems like they get a lot of guys who are just pretty average. And I'm sorry to say it like that, but it's true. They get guys who are pretty average who go out do average work, and it's okay, but I wouldn't say it's like when John Byrne and Chris Claremont, well, maybe not Chris Claremont, but when John Byrne was doing art with Fantastic Four or with X-Men, or Walt Simonson doing stuff on Thor, or Paul Smith doing amazing stuff on X-Men and Doctor Strange. It's the quality of the artist and what they're producing seems to not be the same level it was when I was a kid. Now, there's some really great artists who are doing work, but there's a lot of people who are doing work that I think they're getting because they're trying to save money. And it seems like the idea of the house style has disappeared. So much so that you just have people like doing books. I saw, what was it I saw recently? It was New Mutants, I think. Yeah, I think it was New Mutants. And I mean, I just saw the artwork and I was like, oh, this is atrocious. This is atrocious. Now, I mean, New Mutants has had bad artists on their books, but holy cow, man. In the 21st century, aka now, I expect artwork to be immaculate. I expect it to be high level. I mean, the technology hasn't been any better than it is right now. The quality of coloring and technique and skill is at a pinnacle now. But some of the artist work is really like horrible, just garbage work. I don't get it, but maybe what do I know? I'm an old man. Maybe I'm just thinking back to the old past when the house style was something that people understood and made books look a certain way. I don't know. I know for myself when we do our Amazing Universe comic book, we're definitely gonna have a house style. And the person I'm gonna probably, well, one of the people I'm gonna definitely use is definitely Paul Smith. I think Paul Smith was the epitome of what a good, clean comic book should look like. I mean, it didn't hurt that he understood animation probably better than most people understood art, but it's nice to see that level of quality and that kind of stuff. And you want to get somebody in there who can work a regular schedule, and that's the other part. Some of these guys aren't as fast as the older guys were when they didn't have to be, and they're not going to be. And I think that's another reason comic books don't come out on time, or people you get like two artists on one book. And if you're going to do something like that, at least get two artists who are similar in style so they can ape each other. Not that they're trying to do one thing better than the other person, but that's just me. So if you're a fan of comic books and you wish the house style would come back, do us a huge favor. Give us a thumbs up. If you don't like the idea of the house style and you think it's a dumb idea and you like the quality of books now, uh, I would say give us a thumbs down. But I mean, God, I can't even imagine if you think the style is good. I mean, I really don't want to hear your opinion because God, you don't know what good art is. Sorry, that's just the way it is. But yeah, but you can give us a thumbs down. We're okay with that. As always, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you all later.